Alright, so I'm not actually going to race for you now. I have this replay on a map that was really challenging for me. So I'm going to run you through. I did this map a couple of times to try to get the best first lap that I could, and then I just let myself make mistakes unintentionally, but I did that so I let it go. So I can explain what went wrong there and how maybe you can avoid it. Now keep in mind, I'm an extremely new sim racing game player. I have never played any real sim games before like this. Well, never's kind of not right because I have and didn't like them, so I'll never put like more than 10 minutes in. But Forza 6 kind of changed my mind on the whole genre, and I've been playing this about a week. So we're gonna start the video. I have this on chase cam, but I play with the hood view, not quite driver's seat where you see the wheel and everything, but just where you see the hood, just for the wider field of view. Play for whatever view is most comfortable for you. Alright, so we're going to let this take off. I'll comment on what's going on and why. And keep in mind, new guy, take everything I say with a grain of salt. If I get something wrong, let me know in comments. If you have some advice on how I can improve my driving, let me know. If you want to tell me I suck, well, you can keep it to yourself or post it. Don't mind either way. Let's do this. Why did I choose Subaru? Because I'm a Subaru fan. I like the cars. Now, one thing you're not seeing in the replay is the arrows. This game will show you an entire path, like what's the best position. I have that set to show me only braking points or cautionary turns. So when I see yellow arrows, I know I might spin out if I don't slow down. When I see red, it means I gotta hit the brakes or I'm gonna bash into a wall. Now braking took a lot of adjusting for me, because I come from arcade racers and that's pretty much gas on all the time. And it's also really difficult to adjust to like what is the speed here. Like this is probably around 40-50 miles an hour. Ignore the wall tap. But as far as my settings goes, I have it set to show me the brakes points because I don't need giant blue line all over the road to show me where to be. I'd like a little bit of adventure. I have assisted steering turned mostly off. The game warned me that if I turn it off more than it is, I'm gonna have problems if I don't have a wheel. Braking, I have it down to just ABS only, so it doesn't automatically adjust my brake pressure. That's something I like learning for myself. So here's something that really, it took me a lot of attempts to get through, is pretty much almost no gas, a lot of brake, with some gas in between, of course, long stretches. But just really goes to show that don't pull the brake trigger all the way. And I hit this wall like a million times. But don't pull the brake trigger all the way. The Xbox One controller I think is really awesome because the triggers have their own little motors that will vibrate. The right trigger will vibrate if you're putting too much gas on and your wheels are spinning. Left trigger will vibrate if you're braking too hard and your wheels are locking up. With ABS on, it doesn't really happen that well, but if you try to full brake all the time, you're not going to get the maximum stopping distance, which means you'll have problems with turns like this, coming out of full speed. Left the track a little bit there. I also hit that wall a million times. I really don't know what is a good car for a beginner. Basically, I don't think it matters if you're as new as I am to sim racing, because you gotta learn the basics of the basics before you get picky about, the torque and handling, braking. Here's the second lap. I'm gonna make a lot of mistakes, not on purpose, but I'll let it go for the recording purposes, just to show you an example. I hit that brake on the turn in front there very well, but I'm not going to do so well on the walls I've previously mentioned I hit a million times. Another thing I noticed is if you try to turn while you're braking, like coming off from full speed like that, you're robbing your stopping distance. You know, if you watched a previous cast of me racing in this, I was a little inebriated and telling myself, stop early, brake safely, and the gravel is lava. Because that gravel will just rob you of all traction and speed. You see, I kind of hugged the wall there because I'm that afraid of the gravel in this game. I'm going to start the downhill climb. You'll see a couple of clipping things and the wall of doom. Another thing that I just recently picked up today was really kind of how to manage the e-brake, and I really picked that up in the Forza 2 Horizons. I checked that out earlier today, but not on stream. Is that e-brake kind of helps for emergency situations like this, where I kind of tap it to try to broadside it instead of go head on, because you can still accelerate a little bit more quickly out of that. Now we're coming into a turn that I have a lot of problems with. You know, it's mostly straight, slight angle, and after this you have this big near 90-degree turn. I didn't slow down well enough, and wall. As you can see, just getting into reverse, getting into drive, even though I have everything on automatic transmission, because I don't feel skilled enough for manual yet. It takes a lot of time to recover from a full stop like that on the dirt. The gravel is even worse. And of course here I'm lost my temper a little bit. And you can see how the gravel does. I try to use the e-brake, you know, to broadside, like I said. I'll also use the e-brake to kind of hit the real tight, little more than 90-degree turns on other maps, but only if I really need it. As far as the game itself, though, I like it. I think it looks great. I'm probably going to look into some more sim racing titles on the PC, because there are some things that bother me about this game graphically. You know, like sometimes I see, you know, like stitching on the roads, you know, where the textures don't quite meet up with each other. And of course the lack of aliasing, or aliasing, or however you say it. And I do definitely eventually want to give myself a wheel. I think I'll have a blast with that. I got the Rift coming in, I'm looking at Project Cars. That's all what Forza 6 has gotten me hyped up for now. Project Cars, or Estetico Corsica, or whatever that game is called. Either of them get VR support, and I can get a wheel and pedal. And then that's probably going to lead me into wanting to save up for a play seat, a racing chair, a butt kicker. I mean, these sim setups going to get expensive. I looked into it a little bit and noped right out of there. Yeah, see more lovely wall taps there. Even though I did just do this race, like literally 2 minutes before I recorded this, I don't remember how I did on this wall here. Let's find out. Yeah. I got a little intimidated, you know. You slow down early, you go, you know, I race with a normal drive tar difficulty. It gives you an extra 10%. And I aim for first place every time. It's just challenging enough for me to enjoy myself, but easy enough for me to get first place all the time. And on normal, you can take these turns nearly as slow and careful as you want, and you'll pass the drive tars. It's not that big of an issue. Now this mess up here, you know, I made a snap decision, decided to go around. It was probably save me some time from that reverse and go forward again. But yeah, when I lose focus on a track, I lose it quick. Now, this game also does have a nice, neat rewind feature. Like, if you bash up on a wall, come to a full stop, you can rewind it and attempt that turn again. I don't use this because I find that feature kind of annoying. I would rather really learn the maps and become more comfortable with it. Also, it kind of like, you know, breaks my immersion. And I'm not really one to be up with the immersion side of things, but for a game like this, it really helps. I'm trying to think if I've missed on any subjects here. You know, there's the obvious wet road effect. Basically makes everything 10 times harder. Other drivers, when you're playing with the other drive tars, which is basically everybody else's ghost. You know, there's no AI per se. There's just drive tars where other people's race data populates themselves on your track and you race against them. And they'll tune to your skill levels. You know, easy, normal, moderate, whatever those settings were. But yeah, I'm gonna forward this video on over to my YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure it's linked in my Twitch profile somewhere. Leave comments there if you have advice, comments, or if you want to be mean. I mean, I'm not the boss of you, you can. I just don't recommend it because it's mean. I'm gonna sign off for now. Hopefully I'll learn enough about games like these. I can do another one of these videos to show how I've grown and what else I've learned. You have a fantastic night and race on.